Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Forman. Today we have Gabe Macon at True Ames Fins, and we're here to talk with you about Twinzers. We've got a mandala stubby Twinzer here as our example board. And Gabe, let's talk a little bit about Twinzers, what's going on with fin theory, and why Twinzers are hot right now, why people are kind of getting into Twinzers as a different way to feel the wave and feel speed going down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think Twinzers, what we're kind of seeing is a lot of guys are making them now. This board is a Manny Caro, mandala shapes. He's been, kind of one of the OGs doing it for a long time. Stu Kent and a lot of other guys have just kind of kept the Twinzer game alive. But yeah, so we're making a bunch of different Twinzers. This is a set we make for Manny, front canard fins, and then we have kind of a smaller. Typically, the rear fin's smaller than you'd see on a normal twin. The canard fin up front, kind of providing some additional hold and bite, when you're heading down the line. And so, what you kind of see with these fins is you're going to have a greater cant angle of the canard fin to the rear fin. So the rear main fin, these are probably set at about 6.5 degrees, and then you're gonna have this canard fin somewhere around 9. And so what we've kind of found out is, as guys are building boards and riding different Twinzer setups, is that everybody kind of has their own magic numbers that they work off of. So what we started to do is create a 0 degree, a 4 degree, and a 9 degree angle in these, so that when guys are building boards or have existing boards but they want to increase the cant angle, they can do that. I think when you talk about cant, there's definitely a lot of different theories on where guys want to be. Some guys think 7 degrees up to 13 or 14 degrees is what we've kind of seen. So we've created a 9 degree plug to our 9 degree cant angle, so that if you add that to a 4 degree plug, you can kind of create some greater angles without really having to manipulate the plug and compromising strength in the board.
Let's talk about the cant again, just in case if there's anyone out there, any viewers out there that are kind of unfamiliar with cant versus the toe on the fins.
Yeah.
And what that cant does for you, and matching the right fins with the right plugs. Like what we talked about earlier, we were talking about, prior to this video, we were talking about how the plugs are being put into the board, and how to match up the right fin with the plug and just the fin setup.
Yeah, so typically these FCS single plugs, they're either 0 degrees or 4 degrees. What happens is when they're kind of set in the board builders will kind of manipulate the plug to kind of create this greater angle. And if you kind of shoot down here, you can see that this fin is canted out, and cant's going to be how far the fin is splayed out, right? So as you see, this fin is kind of bending this way a bit more than this one. And all of that's typically done in the plug if you have a 0 degree. And so what we did is, you can kind of see with a 9 degree, you're going to have a lot more angle just already built in. So what that's going to do is just give it a lot more angle there. So depending on what plugs you guys have set in or how you want to ride the board, we're kind of given options there. And with the difference from toe is going to be how far the fins are bent in, kind of this way, and cant's going to be the actual angle of the fin. And so you want to be probably 3 to 5 degrees greater angle in your front canard than you do in your rear fin.
Okay.
That's kind of the formula.
That makes it a lot easier. So to give viewers a baseline, when you say a 0 degree plug, that is just straight into the board, straight perpendicular to what's going on with the bottom of the board.
Yep, so kind of to look at, here's a few fins we've got from Derek Disney, who is a guy that's really focused on Twinzer. So that's a 0 degree, doesn't do anything. It's a flat fin. And then you kind of look at that difference to a 4 degree, which is gonna have a little bit of angle built right in there. And then if you look at a 9 degree, it's gonna have significantly more. So that way you can kind of dial in your board and you can try different, different feels with the canard fins, or if you wanted to change up the back fin to a greater cant angle, you could kind of match it to the canard.
All right, so here's the Mindmelter part of this video. you're not going to put a 0 degree fin in a 0 degree plug.
No. So if you have a 0 degree plug, which I have seen guys set up 0 degree plugs, you're probably going to want a 9 degree. So you're going to want the greatest angle. So that creates 0 degrees in the plug, 9 degrees in the fin is going to create a 9 degree angle. Say you have a 6 degree plug, which I see a lot set up around 6 degrees, which are very similar to the rear fin. Manny didn't do that here because he's an expert at building them. You may want to put a 4 degree plug in. And so that's going to give you your 6 degrees plus 4, you have 10 degrees, which would be kind of right in that window of how guys are building it.
Okay, so if he's got a 6 degree plug in, then you would go a 4 degree fin.
Probably want to go 4 degree canard.
Okay. Okay, so then you're going to have a total of 10 degrees. Tell us the feel that you're going to, so underfoot feel and like surfing kind of performance that you're going to feel by adding more cant to those canards.
Yeah, so I think, when you look at the Twinzer setup, what you're looking at is this front canard fin is kind of changing the water flow over the rear fin. And kind of that's kind of the magic of it. Allows you to use a smaller fin in the back. I think when you add more cant to it, you're going to feel a little bit more bite to the fin. And really, I think it's probably more important than to match up the correct cant to your rear fin than to really try to increase or decrease it. If you decrease it too much, I think the board's going to feel really stiff. And so I had a guy come in the other day and he had 0 degree plugs, 0 degree cant, and he's like, the board just doesn't work. It just feels stiff. And it's like, yeah, you actually need some cant in there to kind of lean it over on rail much easier and kind of create the dynamic between the front fin and the rear fin.
Let's talk about that dynamic. Are Twinzers the same as like a split keel, like where you're using the area, or is it more about the flow between the canard and the back fin?
It's more, from what I know about it, it's more about the water flow. A split keel, kind of the speed dialer design, is actually taking, like a gap 2 fin and just splitting it in 2 and putting, into a quad setup. This is actually still more of a twin fin that you are creating a different water flow over the rear fin, which allows it to, I kind of describe it as a twin that just has a bit of a higher performance level. And so that's what guys are kind of feeling, liking, and why they're building more of them.
Let's talk about the feel of a Twinzer versus the feel of a twin. So if you're used to surfing a twin, what's the Twinzer going to feel like compared to a twin?
I think for me, it feels like you can turn it a bit harder, right? Like there's definitely some fun moments in it with a twin where you almost feel like it's sliding out a little bit, maybe a little bit of wheels coming off and loss of control, which I really like that feeling. With the Twinzer, it definitely feels a bit more locked in, especially when you're really pushing hard on it. It's almost like the harder you push on it, the more the fin cluster responds. And so I think that may be like the biggest difference is, especially with guys who are used to riding high performance shortboards and they've moved to a twin, they may kind of not love that feeling always, where I think if they move to a Twinzer, it may be kind of that happy medium between that immediate down the line speed, but still being able to kind of wrap turns and do anything they want on the board.
And where do you see the Twinzer kind of fitting into people's quivers? Like kind of what type of boards and what type of waves?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of seen it from short to long. I mean, we have one in the racks over there that's like a 9.2 Twinzer. This is a 7.2. Christian Beamish just came in here with a high performance shortboard Twinzer with channels that was 5.11. And so I think it's kind of fitting almost anywhere in the quiver where you want the feeling of a high performance board, but you want that kind of immediate speed like you get out of a twin fin.
Awesome, Gabe. Hey, thanks so much for having us here at True Ames. Any viewers out there have any questions on Twinzers or would like to order a set of True Ames Twinzers and pair it up with a mandala or any other Twinzer shape that we carry, you can always give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.